This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your source for the latest Iowa ag news headlines right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, Mark Magnuson, and Andy Peterson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Mark.
Hello and welcome into Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Mark Magnuson. Today is Friday, August 29th, 2025, and we're so glad you can join us for today's show. In today's episode, I will be joined by Kaden Sweeney of agmarket.net for our closing markets. But first, it is my discussion from the Farm Progress Show this week as I caught up with Andy Lee of Golden Harvest, and he told us more about Golden Harvest bringing in GHX, the GHX platform, underneath the Golden Harvest umbrella and making it available to all Golden Harvest customers. Mark Magnuson for the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, and I'm here today with Andy Lee of Golden Harvest. We are at the Golden Harvest exhibit at the Farm Progress Show 2025 in Decatur, Illinois. And Andy, I noticed when I'm coming over to the Golden Harvest booth here today, got the big GHX sign outside, but there's an announcement to be made, correct, that these two are kind of working together now?
Absolutely. For 25 going into 26, we're excited to announce that we'll be reunifying Golden Harvest and GHX, which will allow us to take a lot of the digital agronomy tools that are in GHX, kind of blend that with the legacy of local agronomic expertise in Golden Harvest, and be able to bring that value prop to more and more growers.
So in the past, it was more of a separate entity for both of them. You would have to seek out GHX a little bit more. Now, if you're a Golden Harvest customer, you already have that advantage of having GHX on your side.
Absolutely. Those digital agronomy tools will be more widely available. So we think about MaxScript. MaxScript is our digital agronomy tool that allows us to do a personal placement field by field for not just our products, but also a population recommendation to get that crop off to the best start possible for growers. And we'll be able to take that more broadly across any customer in Golden Harvest.
And Andy, I've noticed that focus on population numbers, and making sure you have those dialed in recent years. That's been a little bit of a push, I think, across the ag space. Have customers reacted to that well? Have they enjoyed that, having that customization?
Absolutely, absolutely. So because the right population varies not only by product, but by acre. And each grower has their own preferences. Each operation is different, each acre is different. And so us being able to give a personalized recommendation for not just the product, but also the right population has been huge.
How rare is that in the industry from what we've talked about with that exact prescription, for an individual field? Is that widespread? Is that something that a lot of companies offer? Or is that very unique to Golden Harvest and GHX?
I think it's done somewhat across the industry, but maybe not with a digital tool that's as dialed in as what our GHX agronomy tools are dialed in to do. And so that gets you off to the right start, but then from there you can go into the GHX app to access that MaxScript and then manage that crop throughout the summer, throughout that growing season. You'll get things like weather reports as well as personalized scouting reports. And so it just allows you to not only get off to the right start with the right population, but then carry that right management all the way through the season.
So with GHX, it's not just something that is a broad spectrum tool that you just jump into and it's going to be the same for everyone. It's going to be dialed to you and have things specifically for your operation, even down to that field level, that is going to be tailored for that specific customer. Do I have that right?
100%. It starts off with that grower's personal preferences and their acres and their operation, allows them to voice what they need out of a product, and then we dial in the product and population recommendations and that full season management from there. And it's dialed into every acre. All the maps are in the app. And so it just really allows you to be really specific with how you're managing a crop through the season. Now, that's important because right hybrid on the right acre with the right population gets you off to the right start, but then you got to make sure that you're using the right innovation, the right technology after that.
And with digital agronomy tools like we're talking about here, I know that they continue to always improve. Have farmers come to you guys already and said, hey, here's something we'd like to see, or maybe here's something that we need a little bit of help with? Have you already tailored GHX to be able to do those things that maybe customers have asked for?
We have, and I think, when we bring out things like DuraStack and some of our new traits, it's going to allow more and more growers as they try those products to also try our digital agronomy tools and to help you use those digital agronomy tools to manage that crop through the season. But I think one of the things that will pull people into it is the innovation that we have coming with DuraStack and some other traits.
He is Andy Lee with Golden Harvest. Andy, is there anything else you'd like to let our Iowa listeners, our Iowa viewers know about when it comes to this partnership with Golden Harvest and GHX?
just that it'll allow us to continue to leverage that innovation from Syngenta. You got to remember that we're powered by the innovation of Syngenta and the science powerhouse that is Syngenta. And so when you think about things that are coming with DuraStack, that's going to be a product that delivers 9.7 bushel more in heavy rootworm areas than the existing traits. It's going to be a product that provides 50% better rootworm control. And so I just think not only the digital agronomy tools, but the innovation that we have on the product side in corn is really important. And I'm really excited to see that in growers' hands in 2027.
Andy Lee of Golden Harvest, my guest here today at the Farm Progress Show. Andy, thanks so much for the time. Appreciate it, and have a great rest of the show.
Thanks.
Thank you to Andy Lee of Golden Harvest for joining today's episode. It is time now for the closing markets. I will be joined by Kaden Sweeney of agmarket.net next. But first, a word from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soybean Checkoff.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Time now for the closing markets here on Ag Matters PM, and I'm joined now by Kaden Sweeney of agmarket.net. Kaden, coming into the day, we thought that it might be a little bit quiet ahead of the three-day weekend. Is that what transpired in the trade?
I think you're foreshadowing a little bit. We had a nice day today, really. A little bit, maybe a little bit out of the blue, unexpected. But corn closing up almost 10 cents here on the D's. Beans and wheat both up 5 each. So we certainly will take it. Last day of August, as far as trading is concerned, not really any big news to go along with that. There are some rumblings maybe of China wanting to buy some corn. That those have been unfounded so far. So just felt like a good day where this corn market stared in the face of a lot of bearishness over the month of August, and it's coming out on, really on the good side of it. So it's certainly encouraging to see as we get ready to peak into harvest here soon.
And speaking of harvest, of course, Kaden, we know about the yield projections, what we're kind of seeing in terms of those numbers, but we also know that there's a lot of disease pressure out in those fields right now. And you are a farmer in Illinois. I know you interact with a lot of farmers on a daily basis. Has that been pretty widespread, that disease pressure throughout this area of the Midwest?
Yeah, anybody I talk to right now is talking about one of two things, either disease or dryness, or both, really. But especially in my part of the state here in Illinois, about the middle third has just been brutally dry over the month of August. I've got several farms with just 1 or 2 tenths of rain over the course of the whole month. So certainly not finishing there as well as you'd like to see, and that's been fairly widespread here in my immediate area. Like you said, I think the disease pressure is very real, especially as you get kind of more into northern Illinois, western Illinois, into Iowa. I've heard a lot there as well. So I think the market's aware of it. I mean, we're up almost 30 cents from the day of the August WASDE and the days they're following. So market's aware of it. We've actually seen some reprieve from it. We just were at such a low price, the day of that report, that still's hopefully a long ways to go before we start feeling real good about price again.
And I think we said it even at the time when the number came out from USDA that might be the high water mark for that yield number, kind of this point of the season. And I think since then, we've only seen that crop deteriorate, as we get closer to harvest. So certainly we would think that number would probably come down. Let's talk about the other side of the marketplace now, the livestock complex. What happened with the trade for cattle and hogs?
Yeah, even after maybe a bit of a setback earlier in the week and yesterday, we're still rebounding strongly here with all three up pretty good here. Cattle on both sides up about $3 and hogs up about 75 cents or so. So the cattle market just continues to impress, continues to stay above the 10-day moving average, which is really hard to sustain. But every time it wants to go down and retest it, it holds and continues pushing higher. So if you're a cattle producer and looking for some downside protection, that's probably where I would start, or would be my first indicator of things starting to maybe slip a bit, would be that 10-day and then the following 20-day also slipping. But for now, we're continuing to find support there.
And from the consumer side, it's so interesting, isn't it? I was just reading a story the other day that talked about simple economics. When there's low supply and that price goes up, typically we see people turn away from a product, but beef seems to be maybe the one thing that they don't do that with. When it comes to beef, Kaden, we're still seeing people pay those prices, aren't we?
We are, yeah. Demand has been very strong, certainly, and like you said, it's been maybe even more sticking in there better than we thought maybe it should. And Even back to the other side of the market there too, is supply has continued to be the story there. It really feels like for the last couple of years, and likely will continue to do so. I mean, when you're a cattle producer and have profit margins this wide, it just doesn't really make sense to hold on to a lot of cattle. I mean, if the market's asking for them, you're going to let them have it, and that is kind of worsening the problem. It's a good thing for a cattle producer, but it's just a vicious cycle of low supply breeding more low supply. So eventually things will change, but for right now, it sure feels like the market has been on fire, and it sure feels like it's continuing to be.
So a lot of things to think about, especially things we've discussed here on the show today. What's the best way for our viewers to get in touch for more marketing information?
Yeah, just go to our website, agmarket.net, and you can get on a 30-day free trial of everything that we do for our clients. A lot of conversations happening right now about what to do with bushels in the harvest that are both sold already and unsold. So a lot of things we can do through the trading account. So happy to help any way that we can.
He is Kaden Sweeney of agmarket.net, my guest here for the closing markets today. Kaden, thank you for the time. Really appreciate it, and have a great Labor Day weekend.
Yes, sir. Same to you. Appreciate it.
Thank you to Kaden Sweeney of agmarket.net for joining today's show. Let's take a look at the closing market numbers. You can find that information anytime under the Markets tab of our website at iowaagnet.com.
September corn closes up 12.5 cents at $3.98 even. September soybeans up 8.5 cents at $10.36 3/4. September soybean meal down 2.70 at $2.8360. September soybean oil down 28 cents at $51.47. Chicago wheat up 7 3/4 at $5.18 even. Minneapolis wheat up 4 cents at $5.59. Kansas City hard red wheat up 6 cents at $4.92 3/4. September oats up 7 1/4 at $3.08 On the Merc, October live cattle up 273 at $239.65. September feeder cattle up 298 at $364.78. October lean hogs up 75 cents at $95.03. October pork cutout unchanged at $102.23. Class 3 milk down 5 cents at $18.10.
That's going to do it for our closing markets today and bring us to the end of today's show. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. You can follow us on social media at Facebook and X, and you can listen to our morning, midday, and closing market podcast, as well as our daily episodes of our Iowa Ag Matters podcast, wherever you find your favorite podcast, at Apple, Amazon, Spotify, YouTube, and Podbean. From the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network studios in Des Moines, I'm Mark Magnuson. For Riley Smith, Dustin Huffman, and Andy Peterson, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.